Welcome back to Different Walk Series Talks. You've joined us again with Autumn, Keisha, Farah, and myself, Jessica. This week, our conversation is going to center around parenthood and the experiences that people don't generally talk about. Talking honestly about regret, resentment, burnout, career, kids, bodies, beauty standards. Can we really have it all? And how moms tend to mess up too. And we'll kind of end it with a conversation about childless by choice versus childless not by choice. So does anybody want to start out by, sharing something that you think that isn't really talked about when we talk about motherhood?
I don't think that with the breastfeeding experience, I was fully prepared. Everybody talks about how good it is for you, but they don't really tell you how much it takes out of you, how much energy that you have to put into breastfeeding, whether it's the child latching on or if your child didn't latch on and you have to pump, if you have to eat the right type of nutrition because your child may be allergic to something and you don't know because you'll find out the hard way. Whether you should be drinking dairy or not drinking dairy, whether you should be trying to increase your breast milk or if you have too much breast milk, because I actually had that issue. And, people don't talk about that because you always hear about women who don't have enough breast milk and that they need help. I had too much breast milk and I didn't know what to do with it sometimes. I mean, we did figure it out, she took baths and stuff. We used it for other ailments and such, but I still have breast milk and I stopped breastfeeding last year sometime. But some of the challenges that came with breastfeeding, even with lactation consultants, they couldn't really fully understand the situation because it's not something they were going through. And it's hard to talk to other moms about breastfeeding issues if they haven't gone through it. And even sometimes, when you do go to get advice, or even when you're not looking for advice and people give you that advice, they expect you to immediately be like, oh, thank you so much for that advice. And sometimes you may not give them the result that they were looking for, and you immediately could feel ashamed, or you feel like, I was just trying to be honest with you, and I really do want some advice. It's just you're stressed. You're a brand new mom. There's all these things going on, and people take things the wrong way even when you don't mean it. And all those things together, coupled with breastfeeding, can be very exhausting. No one told me how exhausting breastfeeding would be. That it would be a yes, you're feeding your child. You don't realize how much you're feeding your child till you actually start, 'cause especially when they're a newborn. They're pretty much latched on, or you're pretty much pumping every 15, 20 minutes. And then after that, always trying to find an area, whether you're out in public, going to the doctors, even at some doctor's offices, they don't have a place for you to pump. And then people are looking at you all sideways like this. You don't want to pull out your breasts in front of people either. I'm from the 80s. My breasts are private. They are for special eyes. I don't want to be pulling out my breasts in front of you. However, my baby is screaming and they come before you and my embarrassment. So I'm so sorry you feel some kind of way. But those are a lot of things that sometimes you hear some of the negative things, but you don't hear the actual what you should diet, what you should do. You should be exercising because, dear Jesus, if you don't exercise with your breastfeeding, so your body's storing all these fats for your baby. If you're just sitting around, it stores them in all the places, all of them. Because some people are like, oh, when you're breastfeeding, it sucks all that fat from getting pregnant right out. Yeah, lies. Not unless you're actually doing something to get rid of it. Because you're
Yeah.
feeding a whole human. So, like a cow, you're going to blow up. And those aren't some of the things I heard about. So I learned the hard way to stop drinking dairy, go to oat milk, and not eat so much eggs or all the things that they told you to eat when you were pregnant. You can't eat when you're actually breastfeeding. So it's kind of backwards. Or even some of the things they do tell you to do don't work for your baby. Doctors are artists and they paint a lot of different shades. So you could take their advice with a grain of salt. And a lot of people, they stick straight to what their doctors say. But just like with anything else, motherhood is an art. So every child is different. My doctors told me certain things to do and it made my daughter sick. Other things they did tell me to do, I went ahead with. They told me not to give her water while she's breastfeeding. I'm sorry. I'm from the older generation. She started drinking water at 2 months and she's still drinking water now. So, everybody's different. And that was for me. What about y'all?
You touched on some really good points, especially like the accessibility when you're breastfeeding and the public shaming when you're breastfeeding. and the different levels of shame. Like if you're not producing enough, some people might feel like they're less than a mom or they're doing something wrong. But really and truly, like you said, everybody's different. Every child's different. The way your body reacts is going to be different. And there's no shame in not producing enough milk. You tried, you gave it your best. It is what it is. Just keep going, keep moving forward. I mean, nobody can doubt your devotion to your child just because of your milk production. That's something you can't help, you know? And then also the shame that comes with breastfeeding in public and how you're supposed to cover up. You're hot with that blanket on, the baby's hot. Who wants to do all of that? Plus, we see titties all the time for far less important things, just for decoration sometimes. Autumn knows I get excited when I see titties. It's true, I do. And I'm not ashamed of that either. I won't be shamed for that either. But if we can have titties out on display just for funsies, covered in lace and glitter and God knows whatever else, why can't we have titties on display to feed these babies? It's important. Like, this is what they're actually made for sometimes. So I don't think there should be any shame around it. And I think that we should have more easily accessible spaces for breastfeeding mothers. Like, it's starting to take off a little bit now, but we have a lot more we could and should be doing. We have many ways to go.
And
I will
like
also
there's no
say,
shame in breastfeeding, there's no shame in formula. Because I had some of the
absolutely
moms
not.
that were breastfeeding try and shame me with the formula as well. When we do, it's not that I never tried formula because I did. It made her sick, and I immediately
Mm-hmm.
went back to breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tried the formula, the shame was so real. And it was a doctor's recommendation. But
Yeah.
from so many different angles, they were like, "You're going to feed your baby formula? Oh, so you can't make milk?" It wasn't even that I wasn't making milk. It's just that at the time she was going through some health issues. And they thought that maybe it was good for her nutrition to get her that extra stuff that possibly my milk was lacking. I don't know what the particular case was, but the doctor
Mm-hmm.
recommended it. And I did go ahead and try it out. It didn't work out. I switched it up, but I tried it out, and there was nothing wrong with that. And some
There's
mothers try and make
absolutely
other
nothing
mothers
wrong with
feel
that.
bad. You don't know what the situation is.
You never know what somebody's situation is. So yeah, if you have certain judgments, comments, criticisms, look at yourself in the mirror. Say them to yourself. Okay, you don't have to share it with the next person. Just you keep that to yourself because you don't know what that mom's going through. But you should know that they're trying their best as a mom. That's all you really need to know. Everything else, worry about yourself. You can never go wrong with worried about yourself. So I commend you for sticking it out and do what you had to do for your baby. And she's happy and healthy and beautiful now. So all the naysayers, suck it because you're doing a good job. And yeah, I think it is a struggle when you're breastfeeding. There's a lot of advice out there, not all of it's good. And you kind of just have to keep trying to navigate that space. And I'll tell you guys, I breastfed with all of my children. And yeah, the last one was actually the hardest. I'd done it 2 times before, but the last time was the hardest. So as you can see, I'm a chocolatey brown woman. That means that my nipples are also chocolatey and brown, right? They're a couple shades darker than I am now. That might be TMI, but I don't care. When I was breastfeeding the last one, my nipples were pink. White woman areola pink. That's how raw they were. It was the toughest time ever. I'm talking about I couldn't even stand for air to hit them. It was that bad. But I breastfed for as long as I could, for as long as I could stand. And then I was like, I just can't keep doing this. So you don't know what the next person's going through. Don't worry about what that mom's doing. Is that baby happy and healthy? Is that baby loved on? That's all you need to worry about. Mind your
Yeah.
business. Because somebody might be walking around with mismatched nipples. You don't know.
And
And
then
I know
people don't
people
educate people
really,
about breasts as well. So when you're
Yeah.
breastfeeding and if you're not using your milk as often as you should, it gets hard and
Mm-hmm.
painful.
and some people are genuinely trying to give like help, not criticism, but sometimes it comes out as criticism. Oh, you must not know. Well, that's not good form. You should do this. And so sometimes, even in being helpful, people can be very condescending. So I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it happen to you, Markeisha. I saw it happen to you, Farah, and I'm sure Autumn's probably experienced it as well, where people are seemingly helpful, but then they're also very condescending with the help that they are saying that they are providing.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on that as well. So just so everybody knows, I have ADHD, right? Or maybe, I don't know. It's here. either way, so I have a really bad attention problem. And being a mom means extra thought into someone else. Not that I never put thought into anybody else before, because I do. I have family. I have a huge family, and I do think about others, but I never actually thought about how much that I don't pay attention until I had a child. And that includes listening to others. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't hear your advice at some point. Because I may have heard you, but just not in the moment, because with the way my mind works, I may hear you in a whole different conversation than we're having right now. So we may be talking now, but my mind is somewhere else. So I heard it, but I didn't fully hear it. And you're going to take it the wrong way, like I wasn't listening. And it wasn't intentional that I treated you that way. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to learn to pay better attention. But a lot of moms take great offense when, as a mother, you don't take their motherly advice. And it's not intentional sometimes. Sometimes you try to take their advice, and sometimes it's just that you don't like that advice and you don't want to take it. But sometimes it is that you have to sit on that advice. So
Yeah.
even when you're trying to help, just because somebody didn't take your help right away, don't stop the help, especially if you're family. Keep keep the
Also,
community.
maybe ask how you can help. Maybe I don't need the advice right now. Maybe I just need somebody to listen. Maybe I just need somebody to take this baby off my hands for a little bit. Maybe I just need to close my eyes. Maybe I just need somebody to wash those dishes for me. Maybe I just need somebody to sit with me. Don't even say nothing. Let's just sit and hold space together. Because sometimes that's all you really need. So if you're not exactly sure how to help, or if your advice is being, you know, kind of pushed off or rebuffed, then maybe it's time to just change tactics. Try to read the room, try to respond to how that person is responding to you and be like, you know what, maybe the advice thing isn't what they need right now. And switch gears. Do you guys have any like go-to phrases when people give you advice and you don't want it? Like, do you have a way to be like, oh, thank you, but no thanks? Do you guys have a way to navigate
I
that?
just say I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's it. I stop
I
there.
think it depends on the person. It really does, because I could be more truthful with my mom or my sisters than I can with someone who's newer to my family and who doesn't know how I am or understand the way I process thought. Because even, you know, Keisha, you've been around us for 20 something years, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Keisha knows my attention is messed up. And even I didn't even know how bad my attention was till recently. But somehow my sisters and Keisha have always dealt with me in the manner that I didn't feel like I was a burden with my inattention. So even now when I'm feeling like my inattention may impact my parenting, they're still like, oh, it's okay, we'll figure it out. Rather than sometimes from the outside, I get, you're just a bad mom. And I'm like, what? I'm a bad mom? And I'm hearing my sisters and my mom and them be like, oh, you're such an amazing mom. And then I'm like, wait, this person just said, and you know me, I don't process it the same way because I don't really care when people tell me I'm doing something bad as long as I think it's good. But I might be like, well, why did they think it was bad? And I might try and pick it apart. And then now I have like too many theories, and I done Jessica calls it my rabbit hole because I go down lots of rabbit holes, and then I
You
have too
do.
many
Oh, yeah.
theories that I don't even remember which one the real story was anymore because I put too much thought into it, and that's part of my attention issues, right? But see, just now I got a little bit off track, can't even fully remember what we were talking about. But as a mom, I find it difficult with my attention span, but somehow my family helps bring me back sometimes, and I don't even know how other people dealt with it, with especially with ADHD, because this is totally new for me. Fully realizing how much my ADHD impacts other people, and
Yeah.
And
I appreciate everybody around me so much more, realizing the inattention that I have,
so
and
I want
that's
to
a
say,
level about motherhood I may not have ever come to.
I want to say as an aside, like this is adjacent to this conversation. I feel like having that always in my life has made me a better communicator because I have to
Facts.
listen for the thing. I have to listen for the actual thing you're saying rather than all the words. So you might say a lot of words and there is a point there, and so I need to listen to the entire thing to get what the underlying issue might be.
just feel like Farrah comes back around to it.
Yeah,
She'll be
she
like, I
does.
start here, then she go over here, then she go over here, then she go over here, then she go
Yeah.
over here. But eventually she does come back around. I just wait. I'd be
Yes.
like, and there it is.
Yeah.
I
So,
knew we'd get there eventually.
And I didn't even know it until recently.
so
Yeah, I'm starting
yeah.
to be more aware of it. Not that it fully helps sometimes, and I realize it more for my daughter because she has more attention span than I do, truthfully. At 2 years
She being
old,
outdone by the toddler. Oh Lord. Not
and
her showing you up.
I don't want her to end up like me because she didn't have the tools that I couldn't figure out at my age. And being an 80s baby, since ADHD wasn't huge until now, when I was told that I might have ADHD, my mom laughed and said, "She's just hyper. She knows how to
She
sit
said,
still, don't she?" And she gave me that look, and I was like, my fingers and my toes were moving, but my body was not. I know how to sit still, kind of.
you can
That's
fake
not
it.
something I want to teach my daughter, and that's something as a mother I probably would have never understood. Even when y'all were trying to tell me sometimes that when in one ear out the other, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, but this is and this way. Well, this. Oh yeah." But now I
Yeah.
understand more because I'm a mom because I have to pay attention to what she's paying attention to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Everything changes. Everything changes when you become a parent. Everything. Everything. Like, I did not have the most patience or really self awareness before I was a parent. But then this first kid came along and I had to learn how to be patient really fast. I'm not even going to lie. True story. I remember one time when my oldest, when she first got here, it was only a couple of, she was born very premature. Her stomach could only hold so much because it was so little, so she could only eat a little bit at a time, but she was constantly crying or hungry or throwing up because her stomach was so small. And she just would not stop crying. And I'm new to this whole patience thing. I remember one time I sat her down on the bed and I looked at her and I grabbed a pillow and I just shook the pillow, shook that pillow, and then I put the pillow down. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I can be patient now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you learn so much as a parent. You have to change. You have to. So, these lessons, they come in different forms, but you'll get there. You're going to learn them. And you can't knock somebody else for learning them late or learning them at their pace or whatever. They're going to get there. Let that mom do what she needs to do and give her a helping hand wherever you can. And just don't judge because we're all learning these lessons in different ways. But now I'm very patient when it comes to people. I'm not patient when it comes to technology. I'd be ready to throw this whole computer. But with people, I could wait, What about you, Autumn? What did you learn as a parent? Or what was something new that came across? Some strange momness that you discovered in your journey?
For me, I had in-law issues. Well, law, one in-law issue. Uh, Sometimes the mothers like to infringe on your motherhood.
Yeah, because they know everything.
That was my first experience, my first baby. Um, 3 babies in, um, not so much. I didn't breastfeed my first two. My last one is where I actually like, you know what? I'm gonna do it this time. And I tried it, and it worked for a little while until my boobs started to get cracking and bleeding. They're like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of go back on to Old Faithful.
Yeah.
Boom. I did it
Mm-hmm.
for at least 2 to 3 months, and then it was too painful for me, so I stopped. But as long as my
How
baby was
come?
fed and he was happy and
That's
healthy,
right.
that's all that
Yep.
matters.
How come
Now,
nobody tells you your nipples are going to crack and bleed? How come nobody tells you
yeah,
that?
they never
What?
look. You got to put some salve on it and all that stuff. I'm like, what? Look, what that
Linoleum.
Yep.
so
Yep. The lanolin. The
Lanolin.
lanolin.
That's the
Yes.
first
Mm-hmm.
wonder. I kept
Oh
that
my
on all
God.
my legs.
Girl.
Good Jesus. And that
You can put that stuff
ointment with the
anywhere.
pimple pot.
I can still see it. I can
It's
still
funny.
see it.
Mm. I can't lie. The breast milk itself help with healing as well. Sometimes I would just
Yes.
in my own breast milk, and it was just, oh, I don't know, the soothing feeling it gave.
It does.
Leaving
It
it for like
does.
15 minutes, and it helped with all the
Yes.
cracking. And then
Yes.
I would go in the shower and just stand there for like 15 minutes with the hot water, like, dear Jesus, please let these little
It's
lumps go
true.
away. Please, just
Yes.
please.
And if your baby has rosacea, put some breast milk on there too. Put breast milk on anything. It'll be all right. Put it on your bank account.
Just squeeze
It'll
it
help. I
in.
know it will.
Farrah
Put
did,
a
you know,
high
Farrah
on it too.
went through a whole phase where she was doing all this research on all the things that breast milk would help with. And one day I was sick. She was like, "You need some breast milk?" I was like, "I'm good. I
I love
think I'm
you.
good."
We're sisters.
She's like, "It will help, I
Please no.
promise." I'm like, "I love you so
You
much."
wake up, she just
I love
rubbing
you
it on
so
your
mu-
chest.
right?
and
Just
whatnot.
rubbing it like Vicks on my chest. No,
Per ounce.
You need some?
Because of
You
the
need some?
it is right.
She needs some milk.
She needs some milk.
People put it in their coffee for
And
their
she's right.
skin.
And she's
People rub
right.
it on their
Yes.
face for acne. People take baths in it for rashes. I was like, what
Farrah,
is this?
like
And
Listen.
I
Farrah
was
went through,
looking like
yes.
ridiculous. If I wasn't on blood pressure medicine, I would have been selling per ounce, dear Jesus. Because when my daughter got sick, right, and we were in the hospital, something happened to my body, hearing all these different crying babies. It started
Pew,
milking
pew,
for
pew, pew,
all
pew,
those babies in
pew,
the
pew, pew, pew,
hospital, and all
pew,
of a
pew.
sudden,
Yes.
I could not stop pumping. It would be like, hey, can you hold her for a moment? I gotta pump. And they'd be like, did you just pump? Yes. And from there, I don't know what happened. Even the nurses at while we're at the hospital, I think we were there for like 12 days. After like 3 days, they were like, can you take some of this home?
Freezer just
Oh,
full of little milk baggies. Listen, I thought about selling my breast milk too, but then I saw the other things people were doing with breast milk, and I was like, never mind. I ain't doing it. I just froze it. Oh yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird.
Ugh.
Show about that.
You heard of what about that? Please share with the group, please.
There is a fetish for breast milk.
There's a
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so
a
I'm gonna
fetish.
ask this very personal question. Have you ever indulged in this fetish? Did you ever indulge your man with this fetish?
No, no, I just saw a show, but
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh,
you know,
okay.
I
I
did,
Because we
mean,
don't kink shame. We don't kink shame. I'm just.
the monetary aspect of it. That's all I thought about.
Let me see if I can get back into this. How can I make this milk again? In this economy.
it's actually not that hard to get your breasts going. All you gotta do is start pumping them and eat. There's a couple of different ingredients you can put in a cookie
Well,
and
you
start
know what?
pumping your breast.
When I
Listen to
was
some
I
cool
consider
tunes
it.
and it'll
it
start right
was
back up.
to it was starting to like I pump, but then there was a tea that I looked up, and I started drinking this tea, and that tea was amazing. Oh my God, it was
Mm.
so amazing. I couldn't remember the name of the tea, but it was one of the
Oh, we
names
still have some.
to
We still have a bunch. We still have so much.
So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think I still
Yeah.
had some left over too. It was in my pantry. I didn't know what to do with it anymore. So yeah,
Mm.
that tea was awesome. Yeah, to help me with
Farrah was
my
buying,
The
my.
doctors
Farrah
were
was
saying
buying
like it was
tea,
like
making
because you
cookies,
have so much
buying
milk, it's
cookies.
probably gonna dry up instantly one day. And I was like, really, that could happen? Don't worry, I'll
Yeah,
keep myself eating all the stuff I need to eat. So I had a whole recipe for making. Oh, remember those cookies I was making, Jessica?
those were good
I need to start
cookies.
making those again. They were dairy free with that avocado butter, and I can't remember all the ingredients, but don't worry, because it's saved in my Facebook. Because I
Oat
sent it
flour.
to some other moms. Anytime that my milk would start going haywire because she was sick or because I didn't have time to stop and pump, because you don't always have time to stop and pump. You in the middle of a 3 hour drive trying to get somewhere, and you got to pull over for 15 minutes to pump, but you stuck in traffic. Now, not to say that I never pulled my boob out and linked it right up while I was driving, because I have. But sometimes it just wasn't that easy because you forgot the bag in the back seat. Now you're leaking all over, and now your milk is
Oh,
either getting too thin or too thick or whatever it is. These cookies would fix it right up. So whether it was too much, too little, it would get me back to my normal. So it took me some work to find the correct recipe because everybody has all these different recipes. But that works for my body. Everybody's different, you know.
I feel like you should drop the recipe in the
Yeah,
comments or something
I think
like that,
so.
and they could tweak it.
We'll see if
You know?
we can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that segues into career and kids, and so when we're talking about breastfeeding and having to go out and about and do things like that, I mean there's also a element where people who are going back to work. Do you think you can have it all? Career, kids, keep your beauty standards up to the standard that it was prior to getting pregnant. There's a lot of people who are like you shouldn't have to, but some people think that you should immediately go back to the same beauty standards and the same career and the same workout routines and all of that. What do you guys think?
I wasn't trying to have it all.
Mm.
That's the problem. Everybody trying to live their life according to what other people think or do. Everybody's different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I saw my mom. I saw my mom hard working. I knew I didn't want to put that amount of stress on myself and my life because I know caring for kids is a job in itself. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at our community as a whole, we as women have to juggle not only careers but families as well. But somewhere along the line, when we're doing some juggling, one of them balls is going to fall, and
Yeah.
it's most likely the family. So when I had my first child, I had it in me where I wanted I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, not because I was lazy. It was the easy way out. I wanted the best for my children. I wanted the best
Mm-hmm.
for my boys, and I
There's
know
nothing easy
that
about it.
I didn't want to divide my attention between a career and my children because I know at the end of the day, my children is these are little humans that will eventually go out in the world, and I wanted
Mm-hmm.
them to give them the best of what I had, which is my time. For me, I see money as a tool. You make it, you
Mm.
lose it. You make it, you lose it. But time with your kids, once you lose it, you don't get it back.
Mm.
You can't get it back. So, I did work for a time. Went back to work, but now I'm all in with my children. So I had to downgrade my way of life and lifestyle or whatever, but it was a great sacrifice for my children. So
Mm.
um, I don't I don't recommend us women keeping up with this notion that we got to have it all.
Yeah.
It's a delusion. It's a delusion.
It's a scam.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you burn yourself out, and you don't have
Mm-hmm.
yourself nor your family slash kids. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I'm happy with my children. I love waking up to them and seeing their little smiling faces and looking at them sleep. That's my satisfaction. Not running, getting up, jumping in my car, got to drop them off, and then spend hours at time at a job that I'm not satisfied with. People not utilizing my time and they giving me peanuts for it. So for me, I didn't want to have it all
Mm.
because I didn't want to stress myself out. My children and myself were important, and that's my take on it.
Yes. Well said. Well said, sis.
And I
You hit
completely
every nail
agree.
on the head.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to, if you're a single mom or you're a two-parent household that just doesn't make enough money to be able to stay at home, that's understandable. You're doing what you need to do to take care of your children.
But at the
But
same
I do
time, when I
agree.
did work, and that was another reason when I did work, the money that I did make only covered enough for daycare.
Not even worth it.
Daycare. The money that I was making, I was working a full-time job, And my money that I brought in between me and my husband only went towards daycare. And I was like, what is the point? Why am
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I probably had like $100 left over, you
And
know?
then when you were putting them in daycare, if I may ask, how long were they in daycare?
They in there for like 8 hours. From the time I had to drop them off from like 7, because I had to be to work at 7 o'clock or whatever, and then I picked them up. One of them was in school age at the time, so I picked them up around 3. So it's a long period of time. But for me, I was like, this makes no sense. For what? What? I'm basically working for daycare. Working for daycare.
Yeah.
So
So you're
I
pretty
was
much working the 8 hours that you could be spending with them to pay for someone else to watch.
Somebody else to
And
get
some of
that
these
time with your
daycares,
kids.
yeah, and some of these daycares, like, okay, I was looking into daycare last year for Zakaya, and one of the daycares, you pay for 3 hours a day, only twice a week, $1,200. Excuse me, $1,200 for 2 days a week. So how much is it for 3 days a week? Oh, that's gonna be 15. What's a whole week? Wait, excuse me, we're paying college tuition?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oh, but don't worry. When she gets to preschool, she already know all her ABCs. Well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and she's known all her ABCs for over a year. So I guess I didn't need daycare for that.
Nope, sure didn't. Sure don't. It's a
So,
scam. It's a scam. Don't fall for it, people. Don't fall for it. It's a scam.
But it's too late because a generation of us have fell for it, and we're waking up
Mm-hmm.
now and realizing that it was a scam. At the time, we didn't know it was a scam. I know I did, but now as I
Yeah,
get older and I know more, I'm like, what the hell is going on? But the great thing is, we as women, this generation, we're informing others and we're educating others.
absolutely.
Look, if you do this, this is what's going to happen, and so on and so. I know I didn't have that when I was growing up. I had to figure everything out on my own. So
Mm.
you're right. A lot of the stuff that we've going through, is propaganda. It's a scam, and we got to wake up. Period.
Yeah.
also, I
And
didn't realize. You first.
I will also say that, thank you, baby. What I will also say is, it's not even so much as like we fell for it, but the propaganda has many facets, but also it's, how do I explain it? It's more than that. We have been made to be forced into certain situations because back in the day, you could leave your kids with your mom, right? Grandma was already retired.
Uh,
Grandma could watch the kids all day and you didn't have to worry about that. Now, everything costs so much. Your mom's still working. My mom still works. She tried to retire. Everything kept going up. She went back into the workforce. So now you don't even have that option like you used to. So some of it is, in fact, we do fall for it because we don't know any better. But also in some cases, and I think, Jessica, you're kind of alluding to it, we don't have any other options. You have to go out there and work because your community has been pulled apart by this thing called capitalism. I'm not going to go too much into it because I always do. But, they commodify all these things that you should have been able to have as a community. You know what I'm saying? And when my mom was working and I still had my first kid and I had to work too, there was somebody's grandma in the neighborhood that watched my kid for practically pennies. And I thank her so much because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do it. But we do get stuck in these systems, and it's not because we choose it or we don't know better each and every time, but because we are forced to. And it's pretty messed up. So I just say, if you can help somebody, please help them. Rely on those that you can rely on. And if you can be someone that people can rely on, do that. If you can volunteer your time, please do. If you can volunteer a meal, please do, because we all out here struggling.
but the dynamics has also changed as well. The
Mm-hmm.
grandparents don't want to babysit
Yep.
the grandkids no more. They don't. They're like, look,
Yeah.
I done raised you. My time is now. Figure it out. That's another thing. That's why our community are being stretched thin, or we don't have the family resources like we used to, because there's so many different outside elements that has impacted us to, like what Jesse said, we're forced to. So you got the way families think, parents, grandparents drop off the kids on the weekend, but that's it, and come pick them up when you finish, and then you got, like you said, the capitalism aspect. So it's just so many different factors that come to play, that what our parents had growing up is not what we have now, which makes it
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
hard.
And we need to continue having conversations about um, building community, but also I talk to people all the time. We had the episode about financial wellness. And so if we are investing early, then we may be able to stay home. And if we are learning skills that we can work from home, we're more likely to be able to work from home and still like take part in a child's life, even if we are having to, kind of trade off with the other parent maybe, or work part time while you're parenting. So those kind of things are conversations that we need to have as well. What type of things that can you do to facilitate your own life if you don't have that community available?
Also, us as mothers, we also need to take accountability for not reaching out to the grandparents as well sometimes. Even my own mom, sometimes I'm a little bit proud. I'm like, she has her own life. She has to go party. I don't want to bother her, even though me and Mike need a night to ourselves. But then I'll be like, well, maybe just once for the month. But, I can't really complain about the grandparents or in-laws like that, because to me, um, I've become more antisocial as a older person, and so I can't really speak for them, but I do know that I want to reach out more because I do want my daughter to be part of their lives. And um I don't know what their stance is, truthfully, because when we were growing up, you used to, go meet the parents and all that kind of good stuff. And nowadays, it's not always like that. So me and his mom, we had a slower start than I would have wanted to have. I love her to. I realized a couple of months ago how much I love this woman, and it was very refreshing to realize how much I love her. I can't really remember. I remember going in Jessica's room and saying, I didn't even realize how much I love this woman till this moment. And I think it was something that she was doing with my daughter, but the buildup in my chest that I felt was new for me, because I don't communicate well. I'm not good at communicating, and I'm not sure if she's good at communicating, to tell you the truth, because I suck so much at communicating that I don't even know. And so I haven't reached out to her in the way that I should, and I know it, and I'm trying to do better. I am. Even when I see her actively, I try to actively give her a hug, especially if I feel like I've forgotten, because I would never forget to walk into, like Keisha said, we're Haitian. I couldn't walk into my grandmother's house and not hug every adult in the room. How disrespectful is that?
Hug and a
And for
kiss on the
me to walk
cheek.
in her house and do the same thing is so disrespectful to me. So I try to, when I see her, immediately give her that hug and treat her like I would my own mom. But it was a conscious decision that I had to make, because I probably had some personal feelings that she probably never even knew about. Of, does she like me? Does she not like me? I'm not sure. And I had never felt like that about a mom before, like in my life, because I never cared enough about someone else's mom to hope that they loved me back. So for me, that was a revelation. And now I'm actively trying, when I see her, to do better, because I suck at this communicating thing. And I want to get better with her, and I want my daughter to have that relationship with her, because no matter how our relationship was, she's her grandmother. And the joy that my daughter gets when she sees her father's family is the same joy she gets when she sees my family. And Jessica will tell you the importance my daughter makes you feel when she says your name. It's like the whole world shifts. She's like, Tia Shay, or Mommy, Grandma. It's like the whole world just centered around you. And I want them to have that feeling. I don't want them to miss out on the charisma that Zakiah has, because I don't know how to. You know what I mean? And so I don't know about other in-laws and stuff, but I do know that part of the problem for us, with me as a mom, I was in my own head because I didn't know better. And so as a new mom, I didn't realize that I didn't know better. I didn't realize, like I said, I never really cared about other people's opinions till recently. Like you might catch me caring about my sisters, Keisha, but this is a brand new feeling for me to realize, oh my God, other people are human too. No, I'm just joking. But you know, um, I'm part of the problem, and I didn't know. And it took me my daughter to show me that for me to have that community, I have to help build it. And they may not even realize that I'm feeling this way still. I still haven't told his mom that. Hopefully, she watches this podcast and I'll have to have a face to face conversation. But eventually, I do want to get to that point with her. I want her to feel like my mom feels when I walk in the room. Like I love her so much, I'll do anything for her because she is my partner's mother. And I want her to feel the importance that she carries in my life because without her, there would be no Zakaya.
Mm-hmm.
Without her, there would
Wow.
be no Mike to give me Zakaya. And that appreciation that I feel, it's a feeling that I would never have without having a child. And that makes me grateful because I feel like I'm finding something that I didn't even know I was missing. That sense of community that I didn't know I was missing, I'm looking for it and it's up to me to find it. I can't have other people searching for me or trying to build my community. They're already part of my community. They just don't know it. I tell people all the time, you're part of my daughter's village. So sorry. You're already in it. So once you're part of it, sorry, you're probably going to be in it for the rest of her life. Just like
Locked
with
in.
me. Yeah, the majority of people that I have focused on and you have my attention, you've been part of my community for so long, and some of you are new, like Autumn. Autumn's getting to learn me, and wow, she accepted me right away, so I loved her automatically. But it's hard to find that for other people. I didn't realize it, and I want it for my kids, especially me with my ADHD, not realizing how hard it is. A lot of the issues that a lot of people have, since I don't have that attention span, I didn't even realize it. Like this, what we're talking about today. I never thought about it before becoming a parent. I never thought about what's it going to be like to be a new mom because it wasn't part of my purview. So for someone like me, brand new subject brings a whole brand new experience. Somebody has to bring it to me for it to be in my intention. And in that aspect, I'm probably like a big kid, and children are this way. Their interest is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And they have millions of thoughts and they're little humans. And if you could deal with me, you could probably deal with a child because I have that happy go lucky, oh my God. But yeah, so as a mom, that's one of the things that I learned for community. It's definitely
Well,
necessary.
Absolutely.
you and your sister, y'all are blessed. Okay.
Oh
Mm.
man, dear Jesus,
Y'all-
thank you,
We
Jesus.
are.
Yes.
okay, because everybody doesn't really have that community when it comes to family. A lot of people chooses not to have their children around their family, their parents, because they've grown up in a toxic atmosphere as children, and they don't want their children to experience what they have grown up with. So I understand where you're coming from, and also cultural. Y'all come from a Haitian background, so certain cultures are more tight knit than others. Okay, you got the Hispanic community. Very, you see it on a day-to-day basis. They are very tight knit. They have several generations living under one roof. Where you have some African American community, you know, they kick their kids out at the age of 18. You got to go. You know, so you got to look at that dynamic as well. But a lot of community that we think we should have, it's hard to have, especially when you grew up in a toxic household. And that is something that needs to be addressed. So I understand where you come from, Farah. You want your baby to uh your her grandparents, and that's a beautiful relationship. That's a beautiful thing. I wish I had that. But most people don't have that, and that's why a lot of times we have to fend for ourselves by ourselves, because it's a fairy tale for a lot of us.
It's
Well,
tough.
welcome to
It's tough.
fairyland because you're part of our village now and you're stuck.
And I think that that's a good part too. That to really for those of us like me, who don't have children, who are part of the village, like we have to reach out and make sure that we're showing that we're willing to be there for the other people in our village, right? Because I feel like there's a whole conversation that people have, like that. Oh, if I don't have children, I don't need to be at that children's birthday party. If I don't have children, I don't need to do XYZ because the moms do that. The moms, the grandmothers, the people with children do something, and us without children, we do something else. And that has never been my mindset. That has never been anything that I guess because of my background, that's never been something that I thought. But I do see a lot of it, and I feel like those of us without children need to. I feel like there's more people who are willing than are verbal about it. So there are friends who are willing to be part of the village who just don't verbalize that. And so if you don't communicate it, they don't know. And they don't, like, it's very difficult for people to really help to offload with you. I remember when Keisha when Keisha had her second child. She was like at home, and I came over and her breast pump had failed. She had an electric breast pump and it had failed. And of course, she couldn't just up and go buy a new one. She was doing the manual.
I had a manual hand pump. I forgot about that. Yes, you're right.
Yes, you had the manual hand pump. But here's the thing.
Do you know who helped
She
me?
was so tired. She was tired.
Awesome.
Her husband was tired at the time. Her ex-husband now, but he was tired at the time. So I sat on the bed, and we were having conversations. And I'm like this.
She
Just
pumped my
see the
titty, y'all.
conversation.
She pumped my titty. Yes.
We were pumping. We were milking it.
We were milking
But that's the thing. She didn't call me. I just ended up being there. And so, but if I had verbalized, hey, do you need anything? And she probably would have said something, and I would have come over. I happened upon the situation and I helped. But sometimes those of us who don't have children don't think to verbalize those things. And so I was there to help, but there are probably more instances that I could have been there to help had I been more verbal about my willingness to do so.
And also, as a mom, you have to realize that people without children are okay with helping because sometimes you're like, well, they
Yes.
don't have a kid and I don't want to bug them. Yeah, I never had that
Yeah.
inkling with my sisters. I'd be like,
Ask for the help.
Yeah.
Yes. Ask for the help. Offer the help. Even if you're worried that it might be weird or whatever. I've been that weirdo where I've been like, I hardly know you, but yeah, I'll take you to the hospital.
yeah.
I'll pick up your kid. What do you need? You know what I'm saying? I've been that weirdo, and people have been like,
I actually got one of my
but
best
Like
friends.
for
was
real?
there.
Like, yeah.
Say what, Farah?
I actually got one of my best friends and my godchildren that way.
You
So y'all
see,
know
be the
I have several
weirdo.
godchildren. I'm a new mom, but I've had godchildren for years. I have plenty of them, and some of them are grown in their 20s. And before I became a godmom, and we were even close, it was, hey, can you do this for me? And okay, we just met, but why not? And then that was pretty much it. I ended up becoming her daughter's godmom, and then her son, and then I was like, you know what? Two of your children are already my godchildren. Might as well go ahead and take the oldest one too.
Might
So
as well.
yeah,
So
and we used
yes,
to have some
offer the
good
help.
times.
Ask for
We
the
used
help.
to be able to drop them off. See, the best thing about being a non-mom at the time was I could have all the goods in my house. They came over and it was like playland. I had the crib all set up. You could climb out of it if you want to. Oh, you got all your toys set up in the corner. Don't even worry about it. Oh, you need something new? Let's make a trip to Walmart. I'm single. Let's go spend some money. Oh, yeah, they were spoiled. All of my godchildren were ridiculously spoiled. I should have known I was going to spoil my daughter this way. But anyway, I'm the kind of godmom. See, this is the good ADHD part of it. When you get focused on something, you get focused. So if I thought one of my babies needed a toy, if it had a theme, so don't tell me that they needed some play kitchen stuff. They ended up with the whole kitchen, all the pots and pans, the chef's hat, the apron.
The apron with
Now
their
they got
name
a
on
whole,
it.
now they got a whole playhouse, the kitchen, the garage,
Yeah.
the living room.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got a whole living room, baby. They could go ahead and come over.
They got an upstairs and a downstairs. They living better than most of us. Okay, that's nice.
So that turns the conversation a little bit towards we're talking about asking for help, but I know it's very difficult for new moms sometimes, especially new moms for the first time, because you're learning how to be a mom. You're trying to figure everything out, and with that sometimes comes burnout. And so that's one thing that I've always been aware of, to try to be on the lookout for people who are around me, is burnout. Because like I said, not all moms want to ask for help. And even when they want to ask for help, sometimes they don't feel like they should be asking for help, or the point at which they should ask for help. So that's a really big thing, as somebody who has been around a lot of new moms, that I always try to watch for burnout and try to help where I can. But do you guys have any tips for burnout, or any personal experiences with burnout?
There's nothing embarrassing about having a child that acts up. There's nothing embarrassing about your child doing some dumb stuff or weird stuff in public. There's nothing embarrassing about you having to do some dumb stuff or weird stuff in public. Other moms have been through this, and they will look at you and understand, or they won't, and that's okay. So don't be embarrassed.
Yeah. My tips for burnout are just embrace the suck sometimes. Guess what? Them dishes just gonna have to wait. Your beauty makeup routine, put it on the back burner, baby. It don't even matter right now. Hang it up. Just hang it up. Embrace the suck. You're not going to be able to do it all the time, and you're not even supposed to. That's not how we were designed. That's what community is for. And sometimes you're going to have one of those days where you ain't got no community, it's just you, and you be like, bump it. Dishes ain't getting done. We're ordering out. I'm not making no stinking dinner. My kids haven't had a vegetable in a week. You know what? It's okay. They're still here. Just embrace the suck sometimes. That's just how it goes. Everybody's still living, everybody's still fine, and it's okay. There's going to be days where you're going to be a rock star, and there's going to be weeks, months even, where life is just kicking your ass. That's okay. Take it one day at a time.
It's okay to lay on the floor and scream sometimes.
Girl, there have been times when I have laid on my bathroom floor, and the only way I was able to get up is by counting each one of my blessings. I would start with, okay, I have eyes that can see. I have ears that can hear. I have a mouth that can talk. I have legs that can walk. And eventually you get up. Nothing lasts forever. So just embrace it sometimes. I tell myself I can have a pity party. Huh?
It's okay not to be super mom.
Matter of fact, I don't even encourage people to be super mom. That is lame. It's overrated. And it's tiring. Just be a good mom. Be an okay mom sometimes. Super mom? That's not real, and it's not really attainable, and it's not sustainable. Even if you do get to be super mom on some days, you can't do it every day. You can't. You absolutely can't. And if there's somebody that appears like super mom 24/7, 365, if you look at their kids, I would bet my money their kids don't even like them, because they're too focused on being perfect. On everything has to be just so. Their kids are like, Mom, I don't want to wear these stupid pressed clothes. Nobody even starches their shirts anymore. Why I gotta wear this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure that mom that looks perfect from the outside may or may not be happy. Them kids probably also not happy, because life is messy. And if you can't get with that, you're not going to be able to get to enjoy it.
That's what they don't tell you. Kids are gross.
They are very nasty.
The grossest they'll have you. Oh my gosh, they just take their food out their own mouth and pop it in your own mouth, or they just stick their hand down their diaper and just wipe it all over the wall because
What?
they wanted to paint and they didn't know.
What?
Girl.
It, it wasn't,
You done
my daughter
traumatized
didn't do
Autumn.
that, but I have seen some children do some stuff. But my child has done some stuff though. She's a daredevil, this girl.
No, my worst is when I reach into a chip bag and I eat the chip and it's already soggy because it done sucked all the flavor off the chip. I be so mad. I be so freaking pissed. I be looking at my kid like, you no good raggedy mother. Ooh. Oh, I hated that. Oh, kids are the worst.
Or my
Awful.
daughter,
We love them. They're awful.
right now. I think it's funny because she just keeps on drilling it down her chin, and then sometimes she does that loogie thing and she pulls it back up, and I'm like, "You're too."
You used to do that.
Who taught
Oh, Farrah used to do that.
I did.
Farrah
She got
used to do
it.
that?
She got it
Farrah, you
naturally.
taught her
It was
that.
by osmosis.
No, I
And
It was
somebody,
by osmosis. She used to do that. Farrah did that all through our childhood.
She
She
had
would,
so
she
many
would
of
go.
my friends that I
She
knew
would
would
test to
I
see
would
how
be like,
far she could
"God,
get
how
it
much
before
is
she
this
sucked it
on
back
me?"
up.
Like it's, but yeah.
She,
You see, because you guys don't know this, but somebody has told you at one point in your life, one day you're gonna have a daughter that's just like you, and you was like, whatever, whatever. Look, Farrah. Now look at you. Look
Oh
at
man. Oh man.
you.
I'm
Oh,
glad I
did
messed
you?
up because I got nothing but sons.
mm.
Oh,
You know,
must be
I was
kind of
scared to have
nice.
a daughter. Everybody will tell you how scared I was to have a daughter because I'm not girly.
Yeah.
She has her tomboy moments, and right now she's going through a princess phase. I have no idea what to do. I bought her some princess dresses off of Amazon, and she picked some of her own cute little shoes. She
That's
wants to
what you
wear her
gotta do. Just let
tiara
her
and her
pick.
bow. She gonna tell me the other day, "Mommy, paint my lips." I said, "Excuse me." Mommy doesn't even paint her lips.
I don't even know what that means.
Listen, go somewhere. Go sit down. Go sit down somewhere. What are you talking
Go
about?
read a book. Go read a book. Tired of this.
No, no, I'm like, Tia J, you said one day you'd be there for her. It's already come. 2-year old talking about painting her.
I'm like, I was the tomboy that you were, probably more. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, at least you can
I will
apologize.
princess it up for. I will Google all the things and princess everything for her. However,
There you go.
if you are talking about historical data, I have none. I apologize. I am dataless about the princess life. That's that's a ship that has sailed. So
Autumn, did you ever want to have a little girl? Were you ever like, oh, I kind of wish?
No.
No.
God,
You want to squeeze in one more? Just one more.
I asked for everything I wanted and I have received every last one.
said God has blessed her
Amen.
with.
Bless me,
Amen.
asked for, and
Hallelujah.
3 of those suckers. 3. Back to back. So,
Yeah, but see, I never
You
thought
did
I was
good. You
hard-headed.
did
I knew
good.
I had bad
You did
intentions,
good.
but I didn't think I was hard-headed. This one throws me for a
You
loop.
didn't. You didn't think you were hard headed
No, I
this
might
whole
have,
time?
Okay, so the inattention thing, everybody knew it was real because you had to call my name like 50 million times for me to pay attention. If I was focused on something, you had to be like, fair, 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 fair. Huh? People still do that sometimes. I can't lie. It's not my fault. God made me this way. She has focus. She just don't care. You be like, Zakai, Zakai. I know you see me watching TV
Not
over
the
here. That's
sassy
her
side
response.
eye. Oh my god.
But what about you, Keisha? Did you want any boys?
A what?
Did you want boys?
Ew. No offense. No offense. No offense to the boy moms. I'm sorry, Autumn. Don't look at me. I'm sorry. But they got them little dangly things that hang out and stuff. I don't know. I don't want that.
I love my boys. They
You
stay
never.
cool. You know, sports. I'm part tomboy. I grew up being a tomboy. I like sports. So to me, dealing with them feel easier.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not like girl, boy, girl. All of them. So I can, you know, one goes older, I take the clothes sometime and give it to the little one, you know. So it has its
Yeah.
benefits, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine myself with little girls. Don't get me wrong. If somebody else have little girls,
It's pee on you.
I take me get the
You
little.
you act like that's not a
Yes,
thing that don't happen.
you.
They pee on you sometimes.
Uh,
Girls be on you.
I've
My
never
daughter has.
none of my girls have ever peed on me.
Oh, well, my girl must be a tomboy already.
Already.
As a
So
father.
we've got three boys, three girls. Farah, you have one girl. How many kids would you want? And would you want a mix of boy and girls, or you looking for another girl?
I mean, it's apparently not up to me. It's up to God. If it's up to her father, we'll only have one more because we're getting older, and he doesn't know if we could have that many more because this one's a lot. But for me, I wouldn't stop until God tells me to stop. You know, I always wanted a big family. Our family's pretty big. There's six of us in our particular sibling group, and then a lot of our cousins. There's just so many of us, and it was just really nice having somebody to lean on growing up versus watching some of our cousins that are only children, and sometimes they complain about being only children, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad to be an only child, because I've also heard some really good things about only children. Not that I've ever wanted to be one, but I'm sure it's a really good thing for somebody. But hopefully it doesn't have to happen for Zakaya. I don't think she needs to be an only child. I think that will. She's already very large. She needs someone to bring her down to earth. And I think that with having siblings, it's with good competition and some stableness. You brought me down to earth a lot when I mean, I still fly in the clouds a lot. So you have to bring me down, and I don't know if Sakai's going to be like that. Maybe she needs somebody to bring her back down to earth sometimes. I don't, you know, just for me, I hope she has a sibling, and I'm open to adoption. If for God knows whatever reason we can't have a
So
child,
what sex would you prefer?
I'd take anything. I would love to have a boy. God knows I'll probably get along with a boy easier. Because sometimes I'm not very good at dealing with women's emotions. Um, being that I wasn't as emotional as a teenager as everybody else, and I just recently started to get more
Jessica,
into
is
the
that
women's
true?
emotions aspect of it.
Was Vera not as emotional as the other ladies in the household? Is that true? Can you
Well,
attest to
there's a
that?
She had different type of
emotional
emotional
and
See?
things.
expression.
She had
There's a
different type
difference
of
between
emotional
emotional
stuff.
expression. I'm
Her emotions
expressive.
were
She's
mostly anger.
she's very expressive, and I was more emotionally and less expressive. So her emotions were big, like everything was big, like everything was like she lives out loud. Like
And immediate.
she feels it, you'll know it. So and I'm very much in the other direction. You won't know until I'm at like 102%. So like after I've processed it and I've already like it's on the inside. I've logically gone through it. I've gone through my rabbit holes. Then you'll know about what goes on in my head. So
you're
I'm
such a camp counselor. Oh my God, you're such a counselor.
Yeah, but I never fully understood that till recently. So even with the crying thing, where women just up and cry out of nowhere, it didn't really start happening to me till recently. So I used to be like, "Why are you crying? That is so
white
emotional."
cry so much. Ugh.
But now I'm like, oh, it's because that dog died 3 years ago. Oh, I remember too. Or here's a really good example of hormones driving someone crazy, because I didn't get to have such a hormonal experience when I was younger. Not that I didn't go through puberty, I just didn't experience it as extremely as my sisters did. Not having gone through that and when you're younger means also that you don't learn to control those emotions that you go through. So I'm recently learning how to control these type of emotions because um, I had really high levels of testosterone until recently, and the doctors, they've obviously got it under control, but I didn't even know it was a problem before. So with those high levels of testosterone and not having all the similar emotions that they have, I didn't have some of the same experiences, especially with menstruals or dating people.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Sarah, you didn't have kids until pretty recently, um, and I haven't had children yet. So, do you feel like you were childless by choice or not by choice?
I totally chose to be childless. I strapped up, made sure if I had an accident, I jumped on plan B. I never had to have an abortion because I didn't go through those types of problems. A man couldn't even get next to me without being like, where's your condom? Go wrap up. What's wrong with you? You ain't trying to, no. So, and then even when I did decide that I wanted kids with my ex-husband, God had other plans. Thank you, Jesus. But, God helped me wait this long. When me and my current partner did discuss having children when we were younger, we decided, I told him one day, I was like, look, I'm not going to be one of those women who says, you have to have my children. I have to have your children. Either you want them or you don't. I love you. We'll stay together regardless. If I get to the point where I feel like I want children and you don't, we'll cross that bridge at that point. Or if I get to a certain age, we're not having kids at all because I'm not going to do it. So we got to a certain age, and he was like, "Hey, didn't you say you weren't having kids after this age?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we ended up pregnant quicker than we anticipated. But she came, and I don't regret it in any shape, form, or fashion. Thank you, Jesus, I waited this long because I don't know what I would do if I had another daughter.
There is a lot of conversation around whether you are childless by choice or not. And it's funny because when I told you I'm in these Facebook dating groups and things like that. And when you say you're childless by choice, a lot of people say, no, you're not. No. If you want children and you're this age, you're not childless by choice. You're childless because nobody's going to get you pregnant or because you can't find a man or all sorts of different ridiculous conversations. But I am also childless by choice simply because I have not found someone that I have aligned with in the manner that I would want them to be the father of my children. Now, I also don't sleep with anybody that I would not see as the father of my children. So that is something that I always take into account. If I'm going to go to bed with anybody, they have to be father material. Like they have to be the sort of person that I could see as the father of my child. Because nothing is 100%. Even on birth control, I think we should have more conversations around if you're going to sleep with somebody, maybe you should make sure that unless you are sterile or unless you are otherwise using your own birth control methods, that person could potentially be the father of your child. Another topic for another day, but I'm childless by choice, but I do want children. All right, so we we talked about burnout and community and can you have it all, because you don't really need to have it all, and we've kind of touched on those points. You just need to prioritize what's important to you, which a lot of times is just you and your children and your mental health and being able to reach out to those around you when you can, and if you can't, just taking it one step at a time. And like Keisha mentioned earlier, count your blessings one by one until you can get up. And sometimes don't get up for a while. just give yourself some time. Moms mess up too, and that's okay. They're not perfect.
It's okay to not want to be a mom. There's plenty of women like that nowadays. If you know you're too selfish to be a mom, if you know that you're not going to take care of them, it's okay to say no.
Completely okay. So
and wrap up.
Definitely wrap up. It's crazy out here. If you have your own advice or if you have your own stories, go ahead and put a comment down below about any advice you've got for any other moms who might be struggling or who are doing great, and any more tips that they might need. Share your stories about if you've been childless by choice or you're not childless by choice, if you've had a hard time conceiving maybe. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Different Walk Serious Talks, and we'll see you next time.